Hey beauties, good afternoon to you beautiful people. So beauties, I was on a live. I'm going to encourage you, not follow me and follow this guy, Prince Ladio. He's really good. His lives are thought-provoking, emotionally filled with intelligence quotient, meaning knowledgeable, high thinking, good. And it's all for all cross-section of people. All you just need to do is respect each other on the live. Is not one of them that you come and you curse and use all your colorful and lovely words that are not so lovely to the average folk. But it is, as I said, thought-provoking, very educational, very inspirational, motivational, life-changing and transforming. And it was just awesome, awe-inspiring, splendacious, splendiferous, fantabulous, fantastic, wonderful, resplendent, dazzling almost to the brain, which I really respected. And the topic, really, there was a metamorphosis. It moved from one topic into the next. You know how we are as a people, as humans, not just Jamaicans, but different things will come across, especially in life, unless you're really dealing with a pressing issue and people are giving different perspectives and just repeating themselves over and over and over again, But beautiful people, it really, part of the topic was, let us say, husbands, you have your wives, wives, you have your husbands, boyfriends, you have your girlfriends, girlfriend, you have your girlfriends, you have your boyfriends, fiancés with fiancés, And let us say, ladies, wives, your husband got a call from his ex-wife or ex-girlfriend to say, during this inclement weather, the roof blew off, some zinc is flying, my life is at stake, please come and help me. You say no, she needs to get somebody else. And your no is more on the basis of your insecurities, narcissism or selfishness, or lack of trust in both him and maybe her. And especially if she's a beautiful, voluptuous ex-wife or ex-girlfriend. You have this sort of a exchange of words, almost combative, but not so much. And he says, I'm going. And he goes, would you end your relationship? And I said, no. Especially if it's a one-off, two-off situation. Especially if he's not making it a habit to disrespect me and disregard my feelings. We are safe, we are secured. The ex-girlfriend is not. Because the reality is, beautiful people, we have to always not be nearsighted, but farsighted. And I'm going to use back that same analogy of the nearsightedness or the farsightedness for you to understand. And because let us put things on the scale. So we're going to measure everything on the scale now. We're going to measure your feelings and we're going to measure the realities of the ex-girlfriend or the ex-wife. So on the weight scale, we have your selfishness, your lack of trust, and your low self-esteem. On the measuring scale for her, we have her life, her physical life. One of the things that we have a right to is life. And let us say it was to go to the court of law. All of this didn't come up, but I'm just putting it to you. And the judge therefore says, but I do understand your feelings. It's very valid, depending on it. We don't laud and praise low self-esteem. And we don't laud and praise not having trust unless the person gives you a reason to. But we don't laud and praise narcissism or selfishness, because narcissism is just extreme selfishness. And truth be told, every human being has a touch of narcissism in him or her. If that were the case, if that were not the case and we were not innately selfish, I could come to you and ask you for $100,000 or $1 million, and let us say you're able to give me either of the two. You just give me freely whether we're friends, yes or no, because you would have been innately kind and generous. No. And that is the realities, or the reality. No, so we have put on the scale your feelings and her life. And naturally her life would take precedence. Where I could understand the wife now coming in as a buffer, or the girlfriend, is if now the man is becoming a crutch. So the ex-wife or ex-girlfriend may not necessarily be romantically interested in your husband, and vice versa. He may not be romantically interested in her. But what is happening is that if he becomes a crutch, a match can be lit or struck up one day, and boom. And what he says, I don't know how he ended up in bed, but I know how he would have. He wasn't far-sighted, he was just near-sighted. Because what was happening is, let us put something very practical. Every other week, she was calling him to deal with something for her, deal with this. She may not be interested in thinking of him in that way. And then they begin to talk and they reminisce on good times. And then that is what happens. One day he goes, he becomes vulnerable. The enemy now creates a little divisiveness between you and your husband. He goes there to help her. And he's venting and saying, boy, such, and then it just happens. So the wife now becomes a buff and say, honey, yes, I trust you, or may not. My self-esteem is not low, but I'm also a wise woman. I know that you can't put butter against puss's mouth. You can't put the butter against a cat's mouth. He's going to lick it. In other words, she may not necessarily be the one to make a move, but the butter, she could be the butter and you the cat, or she the cat and you the butter. Either of the two. Anyone can be the either of the two. And it becomes problematic because neither of the two is non-human. Both are human. So both have human feelings. And both can falter. And you don't want that to happen. So my encouragement to you as a married man is to not go to our house frequently like that. I would encourage you maybe to suggest to her if she could find a family member or some other associate if she doesn't have a friend, a male friend, because this may require male strength to assist her with. She may have to do that or talk to somebody in the government agency to see what can, but she has to find her way through. I don't want her to build that kind of a connection with you as my husband, to be having you there frequently, because the reality is both of you were married at one point and now you're building a very good foundation. How is a good foundation being built? By you going there to help her each time. So a good foundation is now being rekindled, and fire can strike. Remember, both of you can it can be the butter, either of the two, not being the butter at the same time. One of you can be the butter, one of you can be the cat. You don't want to put the situation where either of the two is the cat and the butter, because both will benefit. The butter glad to be licked by the cat. And that is where now you bring that in and you rein in, and he has to say, okay, you're right. You're absolutely right. Because what even compounds it, the wife is beautiful. The ex-wife is beautiful. And you now start to see her in a different light. She's now transformed. You're now seeing a different light. You're seeing the good side to her that you probably didn't see in years. But in a one-off situation or two, and he defies how you feel. He defies your request of not going. Don't end your relationship. Strong relationship has to be tested by winds and rains and waves. In order to know if I'm your friend, adversity has to strike. And you see how I respond to that adversity. If I'm going to say negative things behind your back, if I'm going to help you in times of need, when I'm able to help you financially, right? Will I have your back if others do not? Will I stand with you even when others do not? Am I able to do that? I have to know that. And the only way for me to know that is through adversity. The only way for me to know that is through adversity. So adversity have to come. So it may be training ground. Now, if it becomes a habit for him to disrespect you, you still have to go. I would encourage you to go through the stages, because maybe he thinks he's not doing that if he's frequently going there. Maybe he thinks he's not doing that. He probably thinks, I'm a good human. I have to go and help her because she has no one else. I know for a fact, as I was married to her, I was involved with her, I know she does not. And you have to say, honey, no, it's not about that. I want her to get the help, of course. Don't want her physical life to die for my ego to be stroked. No. But I realize that if you consistently go down there, feelings can strike and can come up, can be rekindled, because you're now building a good foundation by helping her frequently. You know? And this is how the enemy will come in and just kind of lure you more and more. So you have to now become that buffer. But don't prevent and stop the person. Because a lady gave an example. She lives in Cayman in this situation. Boyfriend didn't want her to go and help her best friend. She took her best friend's clothes, washed them, and days later, he didn't have any food. The best friend brought over food. So you have to be careful of the seed that you sow, because you're going to reap in abundance. Guys, follow me on TikTok. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please share this message. Thank you.